Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review of X-Men 97 Episode 1, To Me, My X-Men. In this episode, Cyclops races to find the source of the new anti-mutant technology. So before I get into spoilers, let me tell you, this debut episode was really fun. I think it brings back a lot of the things that I enjoyed about the old show, while updating some things that probably needed a bit of updating. I didn't go back and watch the original show. I think that'll live on better in my memory. And you don't need to. I think this show you can just kind of get right into it. And here we have once again the X Men that you probably know and love. They do make a lot of references to like a lot of X Men stuff, which is really fun. So let's get into spoilers. So spoilers ahead. If you haven't seen the episode, go watch it. We'll talk about it. Um, First of all, the updated opening, it slaps. It's really good. I love to see it in widescreen. Actually, I just love to see the whole show in widescreen. I think that's a lot of fun. Uh, I can't believe that we start off with one of my favorite like characters to just see, Bobby DaCosta from the New Mutants. He's kidnapped by the Friends of Humanity. They bring him onto this base. Um, I think that they capture him. He offers them money. Like he's still the cocky shitbag that you know from the comics. But yeah, that's really fun. Then of course we have Storm coming in. Her dialogue just remains unhinged and so just boisterous and extra. It's really fun. She definitely knows how to make an entrance. Uh, Also, one thing that I really liked and I noticed, and I don't know if this is something that we did a lot in the previous iteration of the series, Cyclops has a lot of moves where he just kind of pushes off with his beams, which is very cool because it makes sense, right? In the comics, they these are concussive beams. They're not heat waves. It's not a laser. He's pushing off concussive energy, so he should be able to utilize that to move around, and we see that again and again. He has some really cool combos. We do have a survey for the chat or for the comments. Who is the worst according to Cyclops, Gambit or Wolverine? Let us know your answer in the comments. Um, Jubilee, after they rescue Bobby, Jubilee takes Bobby to the danger room to kind of show him what the X Men are all about after he's been looked at by Beast. By this point, we've seen pretty much a lot of the lineup. So we have Rogue, Gambit, Cyclops, Wolverine, Morph. We also have a Beast, of course, Storm, and Jubilee, right? We do have Wolverine making an entrance once again into the danger room. Very cool, very unhinged. You can tell that he just wants to scare any new recruits, so that's a lot of fun. He sounds great. I think for the most part, all the voice actors sound very much. It took me a little to get used to it because it sounds too good, if that makes sense, right? I think in the original show, not that it doesn't sound good, just the sound quality wasn't as good as it is now. So we're also introduced to a new character, at least new to me from what I remember. Dr. Cooper, who is like the head of the UN, who the mutants are working with. After Xavier died, the mutants are kind of now working with the UN to keep the peace. There's a lot of little hints, little Easter eggs. You get to see a portrait of the original five X-Men in their original outfits, which is really fun. Which brings me to question: where the heck is Iceman? Um, Jean also talks to Scott about leaving the team and retiring because she's pregnant. They're about to have a baby, from what you saw in the trailers. And so like they're having a hard time with. Jean wants a normal life to raise this baby in. I don't know if she's gonna get that. Also, in the meanwhile, Bobby DaCosta escaped, um, and the team has to go find him at a very very 90s discotheque, which is a lot of fun. There's some really cool visuals here. Also, like, am I shipping Bobby and Jubilee? Like, is this a thing? They have a really, Jubilee doesn't get to interact with a lot of mutants her own age, so it's really fun to see her. I would like to see her interact with the new mutants. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Um, but they gotta find Bolivar Trask, right? They gotta find Trask because he's the one that keeps selling all this Sentinel technology to the Friends of Humanity and to all these people that hate mutants. So he's putting that stuff out there somehow. Jean goes into this guy Gyrick, who's the one that killed Professor Xavier, and she has some kind of vision of the future. There's a lot of information that happens there in a very small amount of time, but it looks very cool. So the mutants find Trask. They drop in like the coolest fashion after the jet gets destroyed midair. They find Trask and the new Master Mold, and then of course they take him out. They do quick light work. The UN shows up. They arrest Trask. So yeah, I like that these episodes are about 30 minutes each. It really gives them enough time to tell one complete story. Whereas in the show originally, a lot of these things would have been a two piece because or a two parter because you can't really just tell this whole story in 20 minutes, right? But with the extra 10 minutes, you can really cut some of the fat from the second episode, and really, it really plays well. I think it's it's a good call to do that. So eventually, Bobby leaves. The X Men, of course, they play basketball, which is not baseball, which is what they usually play in the comics. But still, the outfits are great, even when they're Gambit wears like the coolest, fiercest outfits from the '90s. I love that Rogue has to unfortunately wear her bodysuit everywhere, even on top, like under her clothing, just in case, I guess. But then we do have the scene where you saw in the trailer. Magneto shows up. He tells them that the mansion and everything Xavier left is now his, and that's kind of how we end the episode on a quite a high, I think. A really great stopping point for this first story. So I really enjoyed this first episode, and now have a video for the second one as well, dropping very soon on the channel. So stay tuned for that. So if you have seen this episode, let me know what you thought about the return of X-Men 97. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone.